Oh no, it crashes. We are back in Shadow of Mordor, this time with a more complicated goal. I want to increase the money whenever an orc attacks me. However, it didn't work out the way I wanted. But how can we do this? With a complicated thing called a trampoline hook. So, how does it work? The game calls the take damage function, and instead of jumping to the take damage function, we jump to my function, which does the money increase stuff, and then this function calls the gateway, which enables us to jump back to the original function and execute the subtraction of the health value. But before we can do this, we need to set up the trap. So when the game calls the take damage function, we need to write in the assembly a jump to my function. So that means we need to modify the beginning of the take damage function. So we are storing a copy of the first bytes to be able to later jump back to the original function and replace it then with the jump to my function. For the DLL, we need two addresses, the one with the money increase and the one with the health subtraction. So I use the same process as in my previous video of the cheat engine scan, where the value changes, and then get the address. And so I could find the address where I could change the money in x64 debug, and I used it. I used a tutorial from Guided Hacking. If you want to do this yourself, you should check that out. I would compare it to some kind of street construction. So the DLL is injected into the game, the hook thread runs, so the trampoline builds the way back, and the detour makes the assembly edit. And then after the construction is done, the way to my increased money function is built. We are going to look into some of the C++ in a bit, but first, the very anticlimactic result. A typical thing is typecasting. This is denoted by the star at the end, so we are converting a number type to a different number type, and then also the star at the front, which is dereferencing, means getting the value that holds the address to. Additionally, we have to do some scary C++ assembly calculations. So this function jumps from the take damage function to my function, and it uses a special byte because a usual didn't work. So it calculates its way to the target. I have a little extra for you. So originally I wanted to make a video about Doom Eternal, but the binary in Ghidra kind of punched me in the face. You could say it has a hell of a left hook, if you know what I mean. What I mean is that it has a complicated binary, so the results weren't satisfying. I did find out some stuff though. So my plan was to unlock the developer console. Usually, at least in Doom Eternal, you need a special mod or cheat engine table for it. So there are some commands you can use without it, but the cool stuff like unlocking all levels need that cheat. I used the console and typed in a command and it showed me unknown command. I searched this in Ghidra and I was able to set a breakpoint at the function, and this function supposedly does a check whether the command is known or not, and then to change the value from the jump if not 0 to jump, so it at least doesn't display the unknown command string. And I also could modify the string itself in memory. And then I stumbled upon this command suggestions command, which says if it's 1, then it's executed. I changed it in x64 debug, but unfortunately, although it was shown to 1, it didn't execute. I spent way too much time, especially in Doom in Ghidra, so I really hope you like this video, and thanks so much for watching.